if it's working. Now it's working. I think we're live. Still getting the hang of this thing. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 65 of the Super Civil Servants Podcast. My name is Greg, and it's been a difficult week, and the show is going to be good and bad at the same time, if there's anything kind of like that. But we are having a tribute, or not a tribute, but at least paying some respect to Mr. Chadwick Boseman this week, and we're going to have a good time doing it. So, with me as always, my co-host Chris. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Like you said, tough week, but you know we'll end it with a good movie that for many people was their first introduction, Mr. Boseman. So
mine, or well,
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, this character was definitely my first introduction to him. It's one of those things that's funny. I feel like being able to talk about it, because I know we did the Marvel Alliance podcast and we did a tribute to him. It's therapeutic to be able to talk about it, for me at least. It feels good to be able to talk about it with friends who feel the same way I do and are feeling the same kind of pain I do, even though I know there's more people who are feeling more than I am about this right now. It's nice to be able to let it out and talk about it.
Oh yeah, it's what we do, and like you said, we're just going to enjoy a good movie, talk about some favorite stuff, and just talk about him like as he's in the ancestral plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of all the negative stuff you can take out of this, if you focus on the positives, we're about to watch a great movie with a great actor and an awesome guy. If you focus on those things, it's going to be a good time. So, we're not alone tonight, though, man. We have a guest tonight coming on for the first time. Hopefully not the last. Clayton's with us tonight. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I, talking about, Boseman, it hit me like a bag of bricks when I was literally just scrolling on Twitter during work, and I saw the official Chadwick Boseman Twitter account post it, and it almost, you know how you kind of like lose, like you don't remember how to breathe for like a quick second.
Yeah.
It was basically like that. And I immediately shared it with some people. I sent it to our friends over at Portalist Fans, Ray and Brent. Sent it to my wife. Sent it to my co-hosts on Comic Book Legion. And I was just like, this cannot be real.
Yeah.
Like, it absolutely cannot. But, the like you said, it hits everybody a little bit differently. And I will always say this, that Chadwick Boseman, because of the humongous impact that Black Panther brought to, just society as a whole, I think he opened the door for, for me, I'm a big DC guy. So for me, he opened the door for Static Shock. He opened the door for a future Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. He opened those doors. And so I will always appreciate him for that. But I just recently, within the year, have watched movies like The Five Bloods, and I have on my Netflix queue some other movies that he's been in, and I have 42 that I just purchased today that I'll be watching sometime next week.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to him.
Nice.
Outside of, I take it back, I didn't realize who he was at the time, but yeah, The Express technically was my first, but he didn't have that lead role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out more things that he's in. But, like you're saying, when we found out last week, we were actually, this is almost 1 week to the hour of when we found out. Like, because we found out last week while we were recording. I think Chris in the chat room, we had, Katie broke it. And it's just been weird. When I was talking to you on Tuesday, I was talking about, how I didn't feel like, when you think about this, like if it never happened, if you think about this, you're like, oh, that would suck, but I wouldn't be as affected by it as as I feel like I am now. And it's crazy to feel like, to not know that I would be this affected by it, to not know how hard it would hit me. That even talking about a week later, man, it still sucks, dude. Like, it's terrible, But the best thing we can do, like I said, is focus on the things that he's done well. Remember him for the great man that he was, the great actor that he was, and we're going to do that tonight by doing a commentary review of Black Panther. Now, I personally have watched this movie twice since last week. I watched it the next morning, and then I watched it in halves on Sunday. Kind of took breaks, but great movie, man.
Yeah.
Like, great movie, and I don't think I could watch it enough now. Like, this is one of those movies that I think it's going to be one of those ones that when it's on, I'm always going to watch it. It's like, anything from the Nolan trilogy. It's like Batman vs Superman. It's like Forrest Gump. When I see it, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. So Chadwick Boseman did a great job. But guys, anything y'all want to put out there or say before we get going? Because we got a long movie to go through, and I'm sure we're going to do a lot of talking while it's going on.
I just want to say that I have not seen this movie since theaters.
Oh, okay.
I was going to be planning on watching it next weekend, just because next weekend I have off, and so I was going to have some time with my wife to watch it. But I'm glad that I'm able to watch it now, just because I'm just a small short story here. When this movie came out, I was working at a comic book shop, and I was for the very first time working with my new hobby that I was doing at the time, which was spray painting. And Chris, I think I've shown you some stuff that I've worked with. I'm not entirely sure if I have.
I think so.
I did some spray paints of Black Panther, and I had the opportunity to sell them inside the theater as people were going to go see it. But cool. I had a really cool opportunity to meet somebody while I was there that was working with underprivileged kids that got to go see the movie. And I got the opportunity to just with no charge whatsoever, just because I felt it was just an awesome opportunity for those kids. I was able to give them a 13 by 11 print of the Black Panther spray paint that I got. Nice. And I posted them the day that his passing was announced or whatever. And I did a huge canvas of it. But I will always remember that was my first piece of being super proud of. I created something, and I'm so glad that it was Black Panther.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Chris, anything you want to add before we get going?
No, I kind of said it all I need to say on Tuesday night when we recorded. But it's just a tragic loss, not just for an amazing actor, but just everything he did off screen, and how influential he was and what he meant to so many. So, but there only would be one Chadwick Boseman, and for as short of a time he gave us so much to celebrate, and he'll still have an impact and inspire even more people.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Like I said, pave the way. So we're going to see what happens in the future.
Sure.
Well, the one thing I've got to add before we get going, totally off topic, is now Super Civil Servants is part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. And because of that, we do need to go ahead and take one quick break before we get the show started, so that way I can put it out there. Normally we put 2 in there, but I'm going to start one for the show before the movie starts, and then there's just not going to be another one in there. And sorry, only putting one ad in there, but we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So if y'all give us just a moment, anybody watching us live, you get to see the magic of what we do during the breaks. But let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, so for anybody who's live, you just saw exactly what happens during our breaks, which is really awesome.
Everything.
That's right. You got to peek behind the curtain.
Man, that sweet podcast magic,
That's right. That's
right. We literally went back and forth through time.
Yeah.
We didn't have to gun it up to 88 either.
Have to have just enough time to write down the time, and I'm good. So, all right, fellas. Well, I'm watching on Disney Plus tonight. Clayton, you're watching on Disney Plus too?
Yes, sir.
Chris, what are you watching on?
I'm on disc.
You're on disc? Okay.
I'm on disc, yeah.
For anybody who's going to watch this with us in a rewatch, or anybody we have 3 people live in the chat room right now, so anybody who wants to watch it with us live, I'm at the 000 mark on Disney Plus, so as soon as I hit play, we're going to get going. So Nathan will be the one who normally kicks us off and gives us the countdown, but I guess I'm going to have to do it tonight. So we'll go ahead and do Nathan's normal 3, 2, 1 blast off. So on blast off, hit play.
Punch
ready?
it. Punch
it. Why do I keep saying? I always say blast off. like that's Toy Story or something, you know? Like I know it's from Star Wars, but like I always say blast off like it's from Toy Story. Nathan's gonna get me for that, but
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, punch it. So we'll do it. Ready? 3.
Oh, hold on. Oh, shoot.
Oh,
You said it, and I was like, I was already ready for it.
sorry. All right. So let me know when you're ready, and I'll do a slower countdown. That's how I roll, folks.
Okay, go for it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, punch it. And of course, I get the ring to wait. Oh, here we go. Volume's down. That's why I couldn't remember. I forgot to start out in the beginning with volume down.
I love this intro.
Mhm.
It blew me away, the story, and just like the graphics and everything they did with the sand. Like it looked like sand or whatever it
The
was.
sands locking hands together. I thought that always looks pretty cool. Well,
I think this is the first like history lesson of Marvel, really, because I mean I know that it's very something that's prominent in DC films, but to see it here in Marvel, I think this is. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody?
I'm trying to think about it, but I can't think of one off the top of my head, to be truly honest with you.
Yeah, not to this extent.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There have been. I mean, maybe Captain America: The First Avenger, and that's like a big maybe if we count like just the. That opening with Red Skull and that it's not really a history lesson per se.
Maybe Star-Lord. Maybe, but that's kind of split in time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's probably
those
a
are
little
more
bit
of flashbacks.
Right.
rather
Yeah,
than,
I'll give you
like,
that.
history
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think I don't like you're right. I mean, even if there was something that not to this extent, not even close.
And I just love these visuals, man. Like everything just looks great.
Yeah. It did a really good job with the opening of this. I mean, for anybody who didn't know anything about Black Panther or Wakanda, like you just got a little 45-second nutshell of everything you need to know about where they're at today,
Yeah.
and then you learn about the culture and everything else that adds to it. But that right there, okay, now you know where this is coming from. And I love the flash forward right to Oakland too.
And I love the where we are at Oakland '92. For those of us that were I was obviously a kid, but I knew it was kind of going on, and also being a history person, so okay, there's obviously a reason why Oakland, why '92.
Oh, Chris, I'm gonna make you feel super old. I was born in '92, so I wasn't even. I wasn't a kid. I was a baby. So.
Yes, you were just a twinkle. Yeah, I was born in '84, so yeah.
So we were in second grade, right here, Chris? You were in second, third, yeah. Because I know whatever year the year is, like 6, 2, 3, 4. That's what grade I was in. So it's always easy to remember for me.
Those are some pretty big guns.
I kind of, I love that is it Sterling K. Sharp? Is that
Sterling K. Brown?
Sterling K. Brown.
Brown.
Yeah. Sterling Sharp. That's a football player. Anyway, Sterling Brown. I love him as an actor, and that's a guy that I actually want to cast it as a Green Lantern because I think he would do a great job as a Green Lantern. And I love him in this role. He does a great job, but I hate that he has such a small role in the MCU because I feel like he can carry on a bigger character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's an amazing
And I think this is him coming right off of, and he's still a part of it. It's not that he's off of it, but This Is Us, the TV show, and it was huge at this time. So he was a big name to begin with. So for me, I also always wanted him to be a Green Lantern, but I also always thought that he could be a Black Manta.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him as a lot of characters, to be truly honest, man. He would play a really good role. What's the Justin Hartley? Is that the other guy's name that's in This Is Us with us? Yeah. Those two I've always thought would make a great Hal Jordan and John Stewart because
they play so well off each other.
They play great off each other. They have great chemistry. Yeah.
Hartley had actually auditioned for Captain America.
Really?
Yeah, right. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have his pilot of Aquaman. Lest we forget.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very true.
And I could totally buy both T'Chaka and his brother. Like they look like they are legit brothers.
Huh? Oh yeah. And I love how Brown's character here, like immediately just like drops his persona of the natural American to like just his bloodline and just feeling at home once he's with his brother. I love that.
And you just see him just lose all the blood from his face just disappears because he knows exactly why he's here, and he knows he's been caught.
Yeah, like I said, he's an amazing actor. When you guys saw this for the first time, did this scene catch you by surprise with the I can't remember his name behind him, the guy Forrest Whitaker plays later?
I did, because it just didn't even dawn on me that could be something
Right.
that would happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Apparently didn't dawn on him either.
Yeah, no, and you know, like you said, do you think like we don't have war dogs everywhere, like watching our people?
Yeah.
You know, it's you trust but verify.
No.
You know, because obviously he wasn't there. There's obviously a history we just don't know between the brothers. Like, if he fully trusted his brother to do the right thing, you know, he could say, "Oh, we have people everywhere, and we have people watching our people." You don't put someone watching your especially your brother if you already there's not a history.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
And
there's
just
some
that line that he had said, "Do you think you were the only spy that we?" It just like it, you can like just with the raw emotion, the raw acting, you can tell like how much he is truly hurting. After all that,
and I love it that we assume, oh, okay, they just took him back, you know.
Yeah,
and that's all we know at this time.
Yeah, they do a really, really good job with just integrating this scene into the rest of the movie and kind of laying a little mystery into it. You know, coming back and visiting it later.
I think was this also one of the first of the fanfare of the new fanfare?
I don't know.
I can't remember when they added the new one.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't done a rewatch in a while, so it very much could be.
All right, guys. So I got to ask, what's better, that DC intro or the Marvel intro?
I knew you were going to ask that.
I got to ask it, man. I'm a host of a DC show. I got to ask it. I love DC. I love Marvel too, but I love DC. So.
But see, here's the thing: DC's always changes with whatever it's like in front of. So the music always changes. It's never like there is not a fanfare for DC.
Okay,
There's always the
cinematic, but not
the actual music. So I think that's the one up that Marvel has, because they can say, "Oh, this is the Marvel fanfare."
Okay.
DC doesn't really have that.
Makes sense.
And I think the interesting thing is with DC to the mainstream, you know, you've got your Justice League as you see them all at that point. At the end, you see the full gamut. Not everyone, the mainstream can't name. I mean, for crying out loud, Mogo's back there. No one's gonna know who Mogo is.
That's true.
Exactly.
We know who Mogo is. We know all that, so it's just cool to look at to them. But everyone knows every one of those characters that have been on the screen at that point. So it's hard for me to say one's better than the other. They both have their pluses, both have their drawbacks. Yeah. I was about to say it's so cool that they both have really awesome kind of fanfares.
Oh, they definitely do.
To start there,
yeah, definitely do. So I'll
take the wussy answer and say I like them both. Sorry,
there's nothing wrong with that. I love them both too. I can't say that I love the DC one more. I've seen it a lot less. But they're both
maybe
fun.
not forever though.
Not forever. That's right. Hey, I want to ask you guys. His suit, the way it starts out in this movie, and I guess in Civil War, like, what is y'all's favorite suit he's in? Because I know that later he gets the upgrades in the suits, and it's got the. I personally like this black on black suit the best.
Oh, I definitely do too.
Yeah.
And it literally wasn't until this past week, of course, after Boseman had died, that I learned that his suit is made from the same people who made Henry Cavill's Superman suit.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
And if you look at the design, it very much mirrors it. So
yeah, now I can't unsee that.
Yeah, I think that within itself is just so cool.
Yeah.
That they decided to do that.
I mean, it's one of the best looking suits I think they've done. I'm trying to think like some really really good suits. Like I know Iron Man CGI. There's been some that have been good, some that have been bad. I'm just sticking to Marvel. I love Captain America's suits, and I'm trying to think who else has some. They did a really good job with Ant-Man suit.
They did a really good job with Ant-Man.
I think that
suit.
looks
just
really, really
because
good.
it's like most of it was just all practical, of course.
Yeah.
Don't like Hawkeye's suit. Like just
No,
Hawkeye's based off the Ultimate Universe. There wasn't much to go with.
yeah.
You know, there's not there. We didn't have like his full
Purple
See,
mask and yeah.
I also feel like I would have enjoyed the goggles from the Ultimate Universe.
True,
to give
that would have
him
been a nice touch.
to give him some sort of like design other than just a shield uniform. You know?
Well, you seem to get that more with Kate Bishop now.
Yeah.
Awesome suit. Loved her suit. No wait, Kate Bishop. I'm trying to think. I'm not the right.
Hawkeye's
not the right,
protege.
Not the right person. Yeah. I'm thinking about somebody else. But we're digressing from the movie. Awesome fight scene here. I love the way that they open the scene up. The first thing you see him in action, it shows how badass he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I just noticed this. Like you can see his eyes at this moment. Like he'll have, you know, the white, and then I just saw like you can see his actual eyes now.
Oh, okay.
Look for it. Nope, never mind. Maybe no. I'm just making things up. It just with the reflection.
Dude,
There I go again,
looks
thinking I'm seeing what I'm
big
seeing.
in that suit, though.
He does.
God.
Yeah. And you got to imagine there's not a lot of. I mean, you know, you see him without the suit on later on. He's not a small guy, but there's not a lot of padding in that suit. You know, like he's just.
No.
And,
Which is something that was also integrated in Superman's suit. There
Right.
wasn't a whole lot of padding.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. It also like it's so elegant and so simple, yet how much power is within that suit itself. You know,
yeah.
like you don't think, oh, he's just wearing a suit that can't do anything. It can't be awesome. You know, it can't bounce bullets. You know,
Well,
Right.
exactly. And within that the first few moments of that fight that just happened, he got shot like point blank, and just you're like, oh snap, like. So, and of course, the whole I never blink or whatever, and then he just chokes up.
oh yeah, never freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, I never freeze. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's the only time I think I've seen a falter. The entire time he's on the screen, though.
I do like, that we get a taste of what this movie is going to be about with the refugees.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll go to an extent. Wakanda,
But it's so
they
subtle.
But oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't like what reflecting on it. This is like the third time I've seen it. 'Cause, my wife and I watched this on Saturday. I'm picking up like these little things that Coogler and the writers were trying to already hint towards. Like this is what this movie's about. Does the kingdom who is the most advanced civilization that the world doesn't realize how advanced they are, yet they have all this power and don't use it to help others and solve. And there's arguments we see with both sides of that. Why do you? Why don't you?
Right. Can I say these ships they have, the Wakanda ships, are cooler than anything S.H.I.E.L.D. has ever produced? Not even just... I know that obviously, the vibranium, that they have advanced technology. I'm just talking about look. Like, looks
it's
so
sleek.
badass. Yeah, so badass.
Yeah, Quinn Jen ain't got anything on this.
No. I'd take this any day of the week.
But look how cool the city is in the sense of, it's city, but you can see nature, natural life still within the city.
Yeah.
Like they have not totally just bulldozed everything to the ground.
Yeah.
God, Shuri is so awesome in this movie.
I love
Just about to say that. Yep.
I love how she is the most non-formal person in this entire thing right here.
Such a youngin'.
I can imagine that if I was in a situation like him, that's the way my little sister would be too. That'd be She really feels like a little sister to him. Like the way they interact, at least that's the way I feel with my little sister. It's crazy. Like the interactions, the comedy, like they're perfect together. Great casting.
I love it that she literally is the smartest, the smartest one in the entire Marvel universe. Like, she will go and take Tony down in the smarts department.
She's got to be. Yeah, easily. Like, I don't think Tony could have separated the stone from.
Yeah, that's what she said. You didn't think about doing it like this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I did not. Well, not to him, but to, I think, Bruce and
Right.
the others. But the chemistry amongst everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, in the stories that came out this week, and I remember even hearing about it before, how Boseman made sure to go to the auditions of the others to kind of who'd be interacting with at that point. And man, and Angela Bassetta's mother, perfect.
Yeah. And she does a great
her
job.
statement that day, dude.
Broke my heart.
Broke my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because good.
I was gonna say I love how they implemented and I know a lot of people were upset about them during Civil War, but the subtitle of locations, it mirrors, of course, when we first saw T'Challa in Civil War. So I really like that small, subtle, like, hey, this is what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
But but see, that never people complain about it. Really, that's what you're going to complain about?
Yeah, I think that's
that's what you're going to be so upset about is being told where you're at, just in case like you weren't paying that close attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I call that's a little nitpicky. I can be nitpicky sometimes, but that wouldn't even enter into a thought.
Oh. What do y'all think about Michael B. Jordan in this role?
He was so hard. Like, he was so hard to well, it wasn't hard to see him as a villain, but it was so hard to we'll get to it when we get to it in the movie, but he played the part so well. It's like the villain you always wanted,
right?
In the sense of, like, do you want him to win? Do you want to side with him because he actually does speak truth?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So I love the way they wrote his character in this movie.
Yeah, he is not your standard mustache twirling MCU villain at that point. Like, and just being an amazing actor that I have loved following his career. Almost like pretty much everything he's ever been in, I'm just like blown away. I mean, again, Chadwick Boseman and him, just whatever they own at this point. But you're right, Clayton. It's you're going to have trouble saying, man, he's kind of right. I know he's going about it the wrong way, but he's kind of right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, so I mean, he I think almost steals the show, just because his charisma and how he goes about doing the stuff he does.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute best villains in the world are the ones that 100% think they're right, and sometimes what they're thinking is not wrong, but go about doing it the wrong way. That's the best. That's why Lex Luthor, I think, is one of the best villains in the world, because his mindset, especially in like BVS, his mindset is not wrong. He's just going about it the wrong way.
Freudian slip almost.
Yeah, and Michael B. Jordan does that in this movie, where you do kind of question, is he right? Like, he's not completely wrong on what he's doing. You just shouldn't go about it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense by what we eventually find out to who he is and the life he had to leave after that.
I love this part right here where he shakes the rust off the vibranium. So the entire time it's been there, it's been that, and nobody's known it. Blows my mind.
Except Wakanda, they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew they knew too. Because he makes a comment saying they're gonna know that this has been.
The Wakandans will probably show up. Yeah.
I bet you I can buy a replica of that.
What, do you want that mask?
No, not the mask. The little pickaxe they just broke.
Oh, I'm agreeing with him. I'm feeling it too.
Yeah. I love the way they did this too, man. Like, it's basically like Michael B. Jordan's character is just playing Claw the whole time. He's using him.
Oh yeah.
He's a tool to him.
Oh yeah. When you finally get to the part of the ultimate twist between Claw and Michael B. Jordan's character, you're just like, for me, whenever I watched it in theaters, it was not something I was truly expecting at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those are like we said, some of the best villains of like you wouldn't expect him to be of like the head honcho of a villain. You can see him as like, okay, he's going to be a thorn in your side, but knowing he was the brains of the operation, that is where you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
We're coming up on one of my favorite scenes of the movie here, and we talked about this Tuesday, Chris. Like, I love the challenge day scenes. Love them, man. I love the visuals of them. I love just looking at something different, and the acting in them is amazing. Like, it scares me when he's on the edge of the waterfall right here.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, every time I watch it, I'm like I'm not scared of heights, but I wouldn't want to be on the edge of that waterfall like that. Just saying.
No, I love this scene because you get to see why they won the award for costume design. Like,
Oh, yeah.
this scene here,
Look at those
beautiful
colors. Oh my
so many
God.
colors. Oh, so good.
I mean, just they honor so many different heritages from African culture.
Yeah,
I mean, and an interesting thing is when we get to when they remove the Black Panther power from him. I constantly think about this. And, well, could you not have done that before to make it like, I don't know what that obviously does. I mean, it's a true test at that point, immediately removing it and still having to go fight. It's not just, oh, okay, I can do this. It's one of those, like, I'm thinking scientifically, it's like, how does that really affect your body as a whole, just removing that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I get everyone's going to be on an equal ground and stuff like that. Totally get that. I was just saying, wouldn't you do it the night before? That way it's
Right.
truly...
Out of your system, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how
But again, the flip side of it, that just proves how BA T'Challa is. He can do this right then and there and still, he'll miss
I think
he'll miss a step or two, but...
Yeah, and I think more so in this instance, it's more of like, hey, everybody can witness that you have now lost your power, instead of like, oh,
you're
yeah,
right.
he lost his power, whatever.
Very good point. Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, look at him in this scene right here, man. And this guy is going through chemotherapy at this point, right?
I just can't.
In my eyes, impossible.
I just can't imagine like how incredibly strong and tough this guy is that he's doing this. Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's, like I said, my mother went through breast cancer and I saw how rough this stuff is. Like, it's insane. And this guy's doing this and looking like that while he's going through that. Oh my gosh. That's why I say amazing man.
Even at that point, I mean, just not knowing exactly what the regimen was, what the surgery schedule, what the chemo schedule was at that point. Obviously, he would have points, but at some point he would be going through it and needing to, mask it. It's just like, again, it's just the amount of willpower and just like he said, there's a reason he wanted to keep it to himself and didn't want to be pitied, didn't want people to say, "Oh, you shouldn't do it."
Point, like,
go ahead.
Just like Greg was saying, with the fact that you don't see it, but even though at some point he had to have seen some sort of doctor, went through something through this filming, because filming takes a long time,
Yeah, especially something like this.
Oh yeah,
and to still know nobody on this set knows.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Now going back to when the Jambari come out, what an entrance!
Oh,
you just hear them and then you just see their eyes. We heard about them in the sequence, and they basically in this thing saying, "Yep, this is the one that's projected all the technology, everything about what Wakanda, what the main Wakanda area are." They are. He fights with brute strength.
I love the look he had on the mask.
Yes.
Like, amazing. Baku's mask.
Baku.
And just the jab that he has, like the gall that he has to mention his father, you know?
Uh-huh.
I love that mask.
Yeah. I'm a big mask and helmet guy. So, yeah, I definitely am loving the stuff they're wearing right now. This scene is, this might be one of my favorite scenes in the movie right here. Like, I just love the way it's portrayed. I love the setting. Like, how perfect is that, man?
Like, again, it is completely two different fighting styles between finesse, quickness, and agility versus just outright brute strength.
Yep. I love, too, how when it's going on, everybody's closing in.
Yep.
So your ground is getting smaller.
Well, and for me, I always tell myself that I'm not afraid of heights, but like whenever I get on the edge of something, I always get that like weird feeling at the bottom of my feet or in my gut, and I'm just like, ooh. And that I got it the same exact thing when I was here, you know, in the theater watching this part, seeing that he's getting closer and closer to the edge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's super suspenseful, and you know, via the trailers and everything, everybody's like, okay, we know that there's going to be Black Panther moments, but in this moment, watching it in theaters, you don't know what in the world's going to happen.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Clayton, because like I always tell myself I'm not afraid of heights either, and I'm really not. Like I've flown single engine propeller planes. I've done all kinds of stuff. Like I rappel everything else, but every time I get to that point where it's starting out, I have that initial feeling, like you said, in your feet and your gut. Like I'm building the shed. When I get about 25 feet in the air on a ladder or on the roof, it's like, it feels kind of weird. After a minute, I feel okay, but that first initial shock is like, okay, I got to get used to this. Because when you have nothing to hold to, and you're right, I think that's why I love this scene so much, because every time I see that, like where he's on the edge of that waterfall right here, I just still feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
And especially when he puts that move on him, T'Challa's the one on the edge.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's blowing my mind.
I love every single time there is a battle cry, I just like fist pump. Like I'm in there with it, you know? Mm-hmm. There's so much energy here. I love this movie, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like this right here, like I'm doing it right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Like, I love it. But there you go. Good man. Yield. You fought with honor. Don't make me kill you.
And this is why he is king.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having that mutual respect and knowing you were a leader, and as a leader, you need to lead your people. So I'm not just going to kill you right off the bat, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and it's that's just that hero aspect or mindset too. Like you don't, the difference between a hero and a villain is that they both have the same kind of goals. They want to, but one goes about it the wrong way, and one's willing to kill and one's not, type deal.
Yeah.
Where a hero would take this, or a hero wouldn't take this life, a villain would, and that's the difference right there. So. Very, very cool scene. If I looked like that in real life, I would get tatted up just like that. I know they're not tattoos, but that's exactly what I would do.
Hey, what's stopping you now, man? Come on, go for it.
I got a few. Yeah, I just gyms have been closed for months, so I'm definitely feeling it.
Technically not anymore for us as of today.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Planet Fitness did not text me today to let me know that.
Yeah, the gyms can now open with some regulations. Mine isn't opening till Monday. They wanted the weekend to refit. So
understandable. I like this scene too because Chris, I was bringing this up before when we were talking about on Tuesday. This scene is a callback to a reference he makes in Civil War. Because in Civil War, he talks about his father not being like his father. Talking about life being a stepping off point, and you go to the astral planes and that, and he said, "But I'm not my father," which in my mind makes me believe he doesn't believe that, But this scene you see finds out that's real, and the first reaction he has when he wakes up out of this is he was there, like a total shock, surprise look, like it's true type deal. And I love that it's a callback to Civil War.
Well, because what was the line? It was in my culture, death isn't the end.
It's a stepping off point.
It's simply a stepping off point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. When the movie came out, Civil War, and then eventually this. There's some timeline issues. In a sense, the way Civil War ends, he's in Wakanda, and it act like, oh, he's not coming back. But besides that, it's interesting in the fact that he is black. He is taking on the role of Black Panther without being the king.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to a couple of people. I said, well, how is that? I said, well, again, his father ages.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take away the fact that you're aging.
Right. He can still be king, but not necessarily be able to be Black Panther anymore.
So I could totally buy that someone does need to be the protector of Wakanda and represent and be the, as Game of Thrones, the hand of the king.
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that totally makes sense, because again, it doesn't give you immortality. It gives you, vitality for probably longer, and it makes you obviously probably age a little bit less, but age will eventually catch up with you, as it did his father. I know his father was killed by a bomb blast, but his father aged.
Right.
Can I also say the color palette of this movie? Absolutely,
you're right.
Gorgeous.
I love purple, so yeah, I agree.
I love the purple and blues, and even because we know that eventually, I can't remember if it's this one or if it's another one, because this is not going to be the last time that we see the astral plane or whatever. But even with like the yellows and reds, like it's all great. I love the color palette of this movie.
Yeah.
Well, and you also got to remember too, there is a lot of purple in this movie. I think it's one of the strongest, like besides black, probably one of the strongest colors you see in this movie. But purple is a royal color. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a color of royalty. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would put purple in this here because he is the king. Yeah, I do love this scene.
I like this sequence, especially the words that he says, because his father basically drops a very subtle hint.
Of?
I just gotta see the lines.
Yeah, I have to subtitle.
It's more of how his father responds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that line there.
That line, well, because that line plays along with what happens later.
Right.
That's the line that is referenced.
Hey, there we go. That's it. Have I ever failed you?
Mm-hmm.
Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't. His father's response, like his facial expression, says to me, that's not the response of his face I was expecting when he said, have I ever failed you? And he basically says, no. And he says, I want to be a good king like you. And this is it. You're going to struggle. You're going to need to surround yourself. So these are with people you trust. You're a good man with a good heart. So that whole sequence, he is hinting at things that it's hard for a good man to be king.
Mm-hmm.
It's the statement of like, everybody's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And this hits so close to home later in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Especially when and I talked about this on Tuesday, like that's one of my favorite scenes is that second conversation he has with his father, and that he's literally yelling at him saying, why did you do this? Why could you find another way?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. Love the technology, man. I love how they integrate the technology with, I guess, I don't know, just old world living. I guess you can look at it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just, I wouldn't call it old world living. It's just like they don't let technology dominate without forgetting who they are. Like their culture is so important, and their cultural, their ethnicity, they celebrate it and don't necessarily forget about it just because they have all this technology and advancement.
That's a much better way of putting it. Yep, I agree. I love his outfit right there too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love this robe. The black robe, the black and the white. I love it.
And that's the perfect person that you want to be married to. Someone who's going to call you out in your BS and push you.
And if you really think about it, she's arguing the exact same point as Killmonger.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, she's arguing that exact same point.
It's the exact same point, but like you said, Killmonger goes about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking it by force is wrong. Yep.
And that's why it's so important that at the end, when they have the United Nations scene, he is essentially giving the same words that Killmonger and Nakia both wanted him to give.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and seeing, at this time he's not ready to accept what Nakia has to say. Then he sees what Killmonger does, saying the same thing, his actions at that point, and he says, "Okay,
oh, this is what she."
And then he go, and then the scene that was cut from the movie, we didn't see. Oh, so he says it. Now you pay attention.
Right.
I gotcha. Okay, I see how it is. All right.
Oh man.
I did not think that they were going to take his friend here and turn him on him later. He kind of double crosses him towards the end, but I didn't think that was going to happen. But I mean, it's like in any culture or society. I'm sure there's going to be people that they feel like they're doing the best thing for what they believe is right.
Well, for a impenetrable, society as Wakanda, I feel like you kind of almost had to have somebody on the inside to really help make it go full circle. So although it did surprise me who it was, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does this remind y'all of like a Star Wars around the Council of Jedi scene right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first thought that I had in theaters.
Yeah.
I thought this was the Jedi Council room for sure.
And the actor that plays Wakabi, I first saw him in Get Out, and and so it's like, oh my gosh, jeez. I mean, he even, just how different physically he looks in this movie compared to Get Out. It was just like, I had to do a double take.
He is huge in this movie compared to what he was in Get Out.
I actually didn't realize that he was the guy in Get Out just because of that, because of how different he looks. Like, I've never seen Get Out, but I know what movie you're talking about. I've seen the previews for it.
So
but
good.
That doesn't look like the same guy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah. But again, like I get, and I agree. Like, I didn't see it coming, but because of the history that we find out here of how much, and then he's basically saying, "I'm giving you this chance to prove yourself to do what your father couldn't do or wouldn't do," Because I think his friend's saying he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go as far to go after and bring him to justice. It was more like, hey, he's not coming back. We did what we could. And, it didn't take much to say, well, this guy got it done.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, I love these ships, man. All of them look so awesome. I want vibranium. Badly.
No.
How
here's a question for I saw this before I got on tonight on Facebook. Someone posed a question in one of my comic book Facebook groups. They had a meme that said, if you could take one thing from the Marvel universe, what would you take? So, Greg, we know it's vibranium.
Yeah, vibranium. I mean, actually, no. You posed it differently. I don't know. That's a question I have to think about. Vibranium might be a choice, but that's a good question. I can think about it.
I've got my answer.
Okay.
What's your answer?
Symbiote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's kind of scary. I don't know. But I think my initial thought might have been the scariest because I just thought of the X gene.
Okay. Yes. Or at that point, or you could go another round and go Terrigen Mists.
Yeah.
So either one, yeah, that's a dang good answer.
See, that's why y'all are so much smarter than me. Because I was thinking vibranium, and I was like, well, what about adamantium? Is it stronger? I don't know. I have to think about it, but no. I'm thinking metals. Y'all are thinking totally different
answered
things.
that in the Marvel universe?
What, vibranium
and adamantium?
Whether vibranium or adamantium is stronger?
Well, adamantium hasn't even technically been introduced yet. So
in the MCU, yeah, but I'm talking about Marvel in
just
general.
in Marvel in general.
Chris, you would know that.
That's a good question.
Man, don't you wish those shoes were real?
I do. Sneakers? I love them. I love that.
Hey,
too.
we just got the Back to the Future
tying
shoes
or anything.
Yeah.
Like that would be great.
We were supposed to have that by this year, according to them. Nike, according to them.
We did have that. They released it.
They did, but yeah, I wanted to buy a pair.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Exactly. I do want to say though, like if we're talking about vibranium and adamantium, just those two, because vibranium does so much more in this movie, I would have to say vibranium because it seems like more than just a metal. Adamantium seems like just a metal.
Okay.
Well,
You
didn't
know?
they
Here we
say
go.
that this is more of like an energy source?
It seems like vibranium can fix anything you need it to fix,
Basically.
which I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But it just seems like whatever you need fixed, there's some vibranium in there. You got it.
I love his rationale saying the purpose is not to be noticed. You know, don't be too flashy. You know why he didn't go for the gold.
I love this suit.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I like the black suit, just as black on black better. But this is a very, very nice suit.
I love the mask. How much it is more formed like a panther. Like you actually see where the nose should be, the outline of the mouth. It's so much more prominent than his old Civil War suit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that'd be so cool to wear that. Oh, I want to wear that. Nobody would know who I am.
I love this part.
Yeah, recording for research purposes, of course.
Delete that footage.
Don't post it on YouTube.
Oh man. But I also love the fact that like he is a man of action. Like
Right.
as king and everything else, he's not just like in Wakanda barking orders, doing like that. He is out here, you know, doing what he needs to do to protect Wakanda.
Mhm.
So absolutely love that aspect of the character in general. Of course, we saw that in Civil War, but just having it more prominent here, of course, following his character, I love it.
That's a badass suit he's wearing right there too. Like I never really thought about that or looked at that, but that's a badass suit he's wearing. Of course, he is a king, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it is a pretty clean suit.
This is cool too, man. I love this casino scene. This is where you get the first action with a little bit of Claw. You get to see Ross. Like, you get to see everything. Do y'all think there's really like underground places like this around the world?
Oh yes.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah.
You don't think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
totally made up?
No.
No.
There's no way.
No.
I
These
guess,
places totally exist.
I guess because I'll never get into one. I'm gonna feel like.
Oh, neither have I.
But,
You know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy
Right.
that gets into these places.
I mean, especially what like you find out how this place ends up. I don't think I want to be in this place. You know?
Well, you don't want to be in this place and have beef with somebody and be like in the wrong or looking for a fight. I think if you're just in here to gamble, you'd be all right. But I don't know. The people who are in here gambling didn't do very well either. So once everything goes to hell.
But see, I also love how the two women that he is with, of course, they aren't just side pieces.
No.
They are very much determined and just as strong, almost. And I love how they present their characters like that.
Well, you know what else I love too is the fact that like I'm a guy, so of course I love seeing a beautiful woman, and I'm not saying these are not beautiful women. And what I'm saying is there have been so many times in comics, especially where women's sexuality is portrayed, you know, in a crazy way. Here, the women look beautiful and sexy without like accentuating all the things you would normally see in a comic book to try to make a woman look sexy, you know, or look beautiful, and that they do it such a great job of that. I love that about this, you know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because like we said in the very beginning, I have not had a rewatch in a very long time. We were introduced to this character in Civil War.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is comic accurate. He is a big part of the Black Panther comic. Agent Ross. So I've been doing a little research on the question vibranium or adamantium.
Oh no.
What's
the winner? What's the winner?
Well, it's a very complicated history.
Stan
We'll
Lee.
start off. Stan.
Yeah. So here's Stan. Yeah.
So when vibranium was introduced, there was two different types. And so vibranium was first introduced in Daredevil number 13, and it was found in the Savage Land. But what vibranium was basically used for at that time was that it specifically vibrated and caused metal to destroy itself. This vibranium only appeared in Savage Land, and then a year later in Fantastic Four number 53, we found the Wakandan variety. And so nowadays, the Wakanda version is known as vibranium, while the Savage Land version is known as anti-metal. Then we get introduced to adamantium in the Avengers. And so adamantium, generally speaking, is the most durable metal in the Marvel Universe. Even more durable vibranium. And it can be considered confusing for a number of reasons, because Captain America's shield is made out of vibranium steel alloy. And so what ends up happening is, as I get to my rest of my notes here, the way, when Captain America's shield was first put in the comics, it wasn't necessarily put as indestructible. It was destroyed numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until Tales of Suspense number 93 that Kirby and Lee decided that Captain America's shield needed to be indestructible. So a little subtle retcon happened there. But so what they did was the substance is a vibranium and steel alloy that mixed. And it became known as what became as a proto-adamantium. So when adamantium was done in its purest form, adamantium is the strongest metal. But not even Wolverine has the purest form of adamantium. He's kind of like got a secondary, but even then, secondary adamantium still can go toe-to-toe with Cap Shield and vibranium. So,
well, anytime you add the word alloy, that always means it's weaker than the original, right?
Yeah.
So, well, actually,
anyways, nerd lesson, comic lesson, nerd 101, brought to you by me.
There you go.
I love how Okoye she's like, you know what? I've been made. I'm not even gonna try to talk my way out of this. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to seduce anybody. It's because like you said, it's not that they are, being sexualized in any way. They're warriors. They're gonna, fight if they need to, and they just, open a giant brawl throughout the entire casino. I love it.
She's Michonne, for crying out loud. She can take anyone on.
Yeah. She is crushing it, though. Look at that.
I mean, again, she was, like I said, she was already awesome in The Walking Dead. So this, instead of using, her swords.
Holy crap.
You just realized that, dude?
Dude, I just watched Walking Dead for the first time like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know, you kind of binged the whole thing.
I did. I binged the whole thing in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's Michonne.
Holy crap. Yes, I just realized that. I did not know that. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Crazy.
I just blew Greg's mind.
You really did, man. This girl has range. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. So, okay, I got to ask you, do you think that a lot of what she does with her little, staff or whatever she has there, is that CGI, or does she really, learn how to do that? Twirl it.
Oh, I think it's very much practical. Yeah, she learned that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again,
holy crap.
Again, the good thing is I know it's two different types of skills, a spear versus a sword, but she's got at least the muscle memory to wield a staff-like weapon. I love this whole thing where Shuri's can take control of the car. Gosh, I want some of this technology. It's so
Me too.
cool.
Now this is definite product placement. You know.
Oh,
the
of course.
Lexus.
Yeah.
but it's okay because it worked really, really well. So
Would you expect nothing more for the King of Wakanda? Come on.
it's true. Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, the suit disintegrates and yeah, love it.
A lot cleaner than Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those darn pants will grow.
Now, I will say, one, and I feel like a lot of people said it, and I'm not going to hide it at all. One of the only complaints that I had about this movie was the small portions of CGI. We'll see it a lot more clearer in the final fight.
Sure.
But you can see it, randomly throughout the movie. But when you see a good shot, man, it is great.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Just grab it and just,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like right there. Like just seeing him on the hood of the car just looks awesome. It looks
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah. And like I said, while I do
so fast.
Yeah. While I do love the black on black suit, the
What's
most
that?
just as far as look goes, this suit right here is badass. I love it absorbing energy.
Yeah, the purple works so well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I could already hear the people saying, "Oh, okay, Black Panther can run over the car, can run over someone, and no one says a thing."
Yeah.
Oh, the whole concept of the hero's kill. Oh my gosh, it's
Oh, we're about to have a big podcast in about 2 or 3 weeks about Batman killing. So
oh yeah.
it's
Are you going to talk about that? I thought you were talking about Ego. Are you doing both?
ego.
Yeah, you're supposed to be reading Batman Ego for that.
Oh yeah, I am. But yeah, that's the big thing is Batman killing. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe same show.
I'm gonna have
Let's
to send you a link to something of a great show that may or may not help your argument.
Mhm.
I don't know what side you're taking. You don't have to tell me, but I'll send you something of a great show, good history of the Batman, because she covered the no-kill stuff and kind of the interesting history behind it.
Yeah.
There's also a great one about like Batman as a god.
I
This
almost
reminds me of
wanted.
Deadpool.
I almost expected there to be a similar scene of what we got in Civil War with how fast he could run.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to get the same thing here with this car scene.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, it's kind of like, I can't remember. It's kind of like a line in either like Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13. It's like, you can't do you don't do the same thing. You have to make it better. You have to do the next thing that they're not seeing coming.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think of
I
Andy
just
Serkis?
realized how strong Okoye has to be able to
Yeah.
thrust that thing into the road
and hold.
and hold it. Yeah, and not just like have her arms just go into like her bones turn to dust.
Yeah.
I can't not see that now that you pointed it out to me. Like I can't, like it's so crazy. I can't believe I didn't see it before. Like I just can't not see it now. Insane. What do y'all think about Andy Serkis in this one, man?
Oh, he does it so well.
He is such a wacky actor in most of the stuff that I've seen him in. And so when to throw him into this role where he acts the way he acts and is still such a menacing presence.
I like how you say like he's a wacky actor, but I mean he does there's so much mocap, but I mean Caesar in Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
Like he's got this, and so we're also going to see him as Alfred in the Batman, and so both of those characters are very like reserved and
stoic
and stuff
reserved,
like that. And we're going to get to see him in a directing capacity with
Venom.
Let there be.
Well,
let there
didn't
be
he
carnage.
didn't he have to do with directing Mowgli on Netflix?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did
Yep.
the
Yeah,
Netflix one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I just want to know, like, I'm so excited to see him play.
there we go. I was not wrong. You saw his eyes.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
in
can't
this
rewind it.
suit,
Yeah.
but in the
Yes, in
prior
that
suit,
suit.
he
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You're right.
But no, I'm excited to see Andy Serkis, man, play Alfred. It's going to be an interesting role. I think he'll do a great job. I just love his character in this movie. I was surprised when they killed him off, because isn't Claw a big Black Panther villain? Like it's like his Doc Ock, right?
He's a mix. He's an Avengers / Black Panther. I think he's more Avengers.
Well, recently, within the last, I want to say 5 years, they've made him a Black Panther
because of the movie. Yeah, a lot of times, like that's one of some people complain in Marvel Comics now that the MCU is now informing what the direction of comics are. My argument, but my argument back to them is saying, well, yeah, because they want all these new people who are discovering these for the first time to make a connection with it. They can't, it's perfect marketing.
Yeah, and now that Kevin Feige is in charge of everything, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. I do like this, the good cop, bad cop. I'm going. Does she speak English? Is this what I want to? Oh man, this is good because this is kind of a bonding moment between these two. Like they don't get along at the beginning of this movie, but by the end of the movie, obviously, if somebody saves your life, you're going to feel a little better. But
I wouldn't go that far that they don't get along. They both are standing in opposing things about
that's
it.
A good way.
Well, I still think this is very much a new relationship, though.
Yes,
because this is how long after Civil War? A week?
Yeah, it was very quick. That's why I say the timeline's kind of sketchy in the sense of where this is, because I think that's the worst kind of headcanon in of how they were trying to jive these two together, because the beginning just doesn't jive with the timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this too. How Claw's basically telling him like Ross doesn't know about Wakanda, like the real Wakanda.
Yeah,
and this is kind of his first glimpse into it, or his first hearing about it. So Claw knows it all. Did y'all see the moment where he put that bug on him?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah,
him grabbing him like that. That's like a standard kind of. Yeah, you're not really trying to be buddy,
right?
That's a Batman move.
Exactly. And that's why I noticed it. I was like, "Yep, I saw that. I saw that." Man, Andy Serkis, dude.
They really need. I mean, he is.
And Claw right here is saying, vibranium is much more than just a metal.
Yeah.
It powers the city. It is integrated into clothing. Like, it is the way of life for Wakanda. So it's not just, like Greg said, it's not just a metal like I can't even say the word right now.
Adamantium.
Adamantium.
There we go. I'm surprised I can say it. But all right. A little bit of downtime. Chris, you take it, because beer runs through me real quick. I'll be right back.
So graphic. It's it's like I said, he hasn't even scratched the surface of how much vibranium is there. I mean, that's a hell of a meteorite, or meteor, or whatever.
Because that's what the weapon is made from, right? It's the Okay.
And Claw still all the vibranium in the end. Yeah, more. But here's the thing that I always scratch my head about, saying, okay, so Wakanda is portrayed to the world as this very poor, down and out kind of country. And, Ross obviously sees T'Challa in this very advanced suit. It's just like, that's another like little like it's turn my head. It's like, I know ignorance is bliss, but you can't think that they're really this poor country, because he keeps on doing that even in front of Claw, Yeah,
no, like when Ross sees these two women with like super strong like spears and them like being able to survive the crash that they did, and him to think that like, oh yeah, just some small country, Y'all are just blessed, I guess. You know, like it's ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just that's again a very small pet peeve. It's just like I think Ross is a very smart agent, but that was like, oh come on,
yeah.
he's not that ignorant, because I don't even buy like, oh, he's just playing ignorant in front of Claude. No, I generally believe that he still thinks that.
I love that moment where T'Challa jumps on the grenade.
Yeah. And just that little moment of the ring. Like, I think at the time, probably very few of us caught that in the theater. You know, that your mainstream is not going to catch that slowdown just seeing the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I can't unsee what you just told me about the suit. Who needs up close moments?
Mm-hmm. It's so good. I love the way it looks.
I wonder again how it feels, how mobile it is for those kind of suits. I don't, that's a question I have.
You know,
like
when you look at Henry Cavill in that suit, especially in the first Man of Steel, it looks like just a second layer of skin.
Yeah,
like it looks so good.
Like those huge one-piece swimsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is two people of the same world, same culture with two opposing viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
Do what's right versus, the safety of the country.
And again, kind of the trope of the movie.
Yep.
Two different ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okoye isn't necessarily thinking badly.
No.
But
her role is to protect.
Yeah. But in this case, the decision that she's wanting to make is going to cost somebody their life. So it's a nice trope that really makes you think throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm. And again, she may come off cold because she says at one point, well, that was his choice.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ask for him. It's like I said, like it's whatever is meant to be. We can't solve everyone's problems.
I'm glad I didn't miss the scene. I'm back. And all of this too, because even though, like I said earlier, it threw me off at the beginning. I didn't feel like he would kind of betray him, but at least gives you footwork or groundwork for why he does right here. You know,
it does, and I can totally understand his disappointment, but he kind of it bothers me a little bit in the sense of, I get his father had 30 years to correct it and didn't. He had his first opportunity, and now you could be upset. I totally get why he's upset, but it's almost like, that's it, you're going to throw it away just because he couldn't do it in one shot. He didn't say he wasn't giving up.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, okay, that was it, we're not going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I get his frustration because he had to wait 30 years, and then one opportunity, they still didn't take it. But I just said, again, T'Challa didn't say they weren't going to keep trying.
Right.
This scene is so cold.
Yes.
Can I say though, I love Michael B. Jordan's character's look, the outfit, the way, like everything. He did this role so well, sold it so well.
The fact that he straight up lies to that woman's face, everything's gonna be okay, and then he kills her.
Yeah,
like just.
Well, it's just from a certain point of view, everything's gonna be okay.
Right.
I didn't say it was going to be okay for you. For me, on the other hand, everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
This surprised the hell out of me in the movie. The first time I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't believe they killed him off right away.
Well, because, people call... I know that Brent and Ray call it the... what do they call it? The Marvel problem, or the villain problem in Marvel.
Yeah.
Is that they always kill their villains. And so for the fact that they didn't kill Claw in Age of Ultron... and to see him again in here, it was like, okay, this is a villain that can be reoccurring. He's just a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
Yeah. Well, Now we've got who do we have left? We have Zemo still out. We have Zemo. We have Tombs still in existence. Trying to think of who else is left because you're right because that is a problem.
Technically, Red Skull.
True.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna go with the when Red Skull started coming back in the Brubaker run. His consciousness is going to be reintegrated to someone else. That's what they're going to end up doing.
Brent told me to read that Brubaker run a long time ago, and I've been.
You have to.
I know. He told me it's the best Captain America run.
I have read the first 2 issues of it.
Okay,
that's all.
Yeah, Brent recommended it to me a long time ago, but I just haven't gotten to a comic book shop to read it, to get it and read it. I want to check it out,
dude. I tell you what, it's one of the reasons I subscribe to it is Marvel Unlimited. It's why a lot of times I discover things and I'll end up reading it, and if I really like it, I'll buy it physical. But it just gives you the opportunity, and all you really have to do, it's like DC Universe. If you read like 12 issues of something, you've paid for itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you look at a price of a comic being $3.99, 12, 15 issues, you read that, you could read that in a week. You basically paid for itself for the year.
Yeah, you know me though, man. I'm a collector. I like to physically own it, and you're right. I should join Marvel Unlimited. I really should.
I do too. Yeah. I do too. Like I said, it's been a jumping off point for me.
I copped it out and went digital for majority of my books, but I do the same because if you can see behind me, I have trades that I will buy here and there, but I added Marvel Unlimited to my phone bill, so it's not like a completely separate bill. It just gets integrated into my normal phone bill. Yeah. So it's all paid to just one payment, which really helps for me. But yeah, I try to read 2 books, usually 2 to 3 books a week.
I love this.
Yeah, I'll say real quick. Yeah, let's get back into this because this is going back to the opening scene. I love this.
Yeah, this is the plot twist that you get to really see what happened, what we didn't see, of course.
Right.
And how they got the younger actor to look like
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah,
Forrest Whitaker. That was perfect. Oh my gosh.
Does that not remind you of a TGRI bottle with ooze in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just see TGRI on the side and Splinter holding it together when I see that bottle. But that vial.
And that's the thing. I was just like, you're pulling a. That was what upsetting me about this. You're pulling a gun on your own brother. He wasn't telling you they were going to kill you. They were going to bring you back, and
So he kind of brought it on himself, right? I mean, I'm sorry if somebody pulls a gun on me. I'm taking action.
Yeah, no, it's in a strange. It is quote unquote justifiable, but it's just like your T'Chaka was not threatening to kill you. He's saying you're coming home.
Right.
You're gonna answer for this.
Do you think that he knew that answering meant death, though?
I don't know because they put themselves up for such a different type of society that it's hard for me to really see what the MCU version of Wakanda would be like.
Right. Do you know what I feel like it would have been? It would have been a trial of exile.
Yeah, because that's
essentially what would have been. Because we know, completely lost the tribe off the tip of my tongue. That we saw, of course, challenge T'Challa at the very beginning.
Jabari,
yeah. Like they are essentially, quote unquote, like they exiled themselves.
Yeah,
because of the way of living.
Well, that would be perfect to your point. Because even T'Challa in the comics gets exiled and loses he is no longer the king, and he is sent to the city of the dead.
This is crazy right here, man. He drags that body. Somebody claiming to have killed.
I heard gauntlets are panther-like.
Yeah. Because arm gauntlets are awesome.
I love her whole battle getup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, hello there.
Yeah, I like how Ross is coming to a realization here that this is not a third world country. You're not in Kansas anymore, sir. Like,
Like,
But I'm glad you agree with me on that.
I was shot, people. What is going on?
right.
I'm glad you see the same thing, Clayton, about, like, again, I do not see this as a society that puts people to death.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it would either, to be honest with you. I think they probably look for a different.
Well, just because you
solution
see
than
how
death.
close knit everybody is.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, there are punishments, there are consequences at this, but they put themselves up. Like I said, in the comics, they also put themselves up. Like, we're above putting people to death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that honestly is like the last level of being a higher society type deal. You can have more technology, you can do all this and that, but whenever you've gotten past the point of this person did wrong, they need to die, that's when you start to put yourself into a higher society. And I feel like they definitely portray that here. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how this little sequence it explains, how vibranium and the little oh, we're going to come back to this. We're explaining this not just because it's interesting. This is going to come back later.
Right. Yeah, I do love our arm gauntlets, man. And I like how they set up earlier in the scene with the ability to be able to control something else, like another vehicle from a further distance with the technology they have. They set that up for Ross to be able to do that later.
Oh yeah,
cool.
with the aircraft. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she's in the caverns or the caves right now, I guess, of the vibranium,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or maybe actually in the meteor.
Yeah, I mean, with the crater itself, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I want some vibranium, real bad.
Yeah, well, okay, so we missed out on. So I said, so what is your choice there,
I
Greg?
think it's got to be vibranium. If we're
Okay.
talking Marvel Universe, it's got to be vibranium.
Okay.
You know?
He wants a piece. He just wants the just wants the substance.
Yeah, I mean, vibranium makes everything better. Everything. So, like, just whatever I want to be better, add some vibranium. It's better. Like, it's right there. Vibranium can make bacon better, which is very hard to do, but it might make bacon better.
That would hurt my teeth.
Possibly, yeah. Vibranium will fix that. Don't worry about it. It'll fix your teeth. Oh, what a beautiful scene. Oh, man. I want to go there.
I would like to I have not seen any behind the scenes footage of this movie. I would love to know like where they filmed and kind of the background on all that stuff.
Well, you know what you can do right after it. You can go to those extras right on Disney Plus.
Well,
Oh,
or
I keep forgetting that the streaming services have things like that now.
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of this filmed in a warehouse in Atlanta? Didn't I thought we brought that up on Tuesday, Chris? What, like, a lot of it was filmed in a warehouse in Atlanta, and that was the big thing about Chadwick Boseman, was people were talking about how he made everything feel real and alive where they were at, and they were just in a warehouse in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's where Marvel likes shooting most of their movies is the studios down there.
Yeah.
Helps when you have a state that actually wants to get some tax breaks for that, to have other people come in and film movies there.
Yeah, it's true.
Not so much our state anymore.
I also want to just make the comment of like the way of communication that they have, like with the holograms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that before in like the Avengers movies and everything else. It looks so much better in this movie because they just want to add that, like, this is Wakanda. Like, they're going to have better technology. So I love the.
I knew Greg was there. Yeah. Everything's
Sprinkle
better
a little
with
vibranium on it. You're good, like.
Who knew a vibranium could make a hologram look just a tad bit better?
That's the difference in that 4K and that 1080p. It's 1080p. Otherwise, you sprinkle a little vibranium on it, it's 4K.
No, it's Vibranium K. VK.
Right.
VK.
VK. Oh, this is crazy,
man. Jordan is just a presence.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I almost hate that. Like, I love that he played this role. Like I said before, I love he played it. It's the same way with Andy Serkis. I love that he played this role, did a great job. I hate they killed him off so early, where you can't use this guy anymore. I mean, I know that he
Well,
was. Yeah, well, they could.
that with the clear establishment that wasn't there rumors that Michael B. Jordan was going to be playing a part in Black Panther 2? Like,
I'm not sure.
I
Yeah, I
I
stayed
I
away
feel
from
like in
all
very in,
future
I feel
references. Yeah.
I feel like in very early talks that he was going to be reprising his role, but like you we haven't necessarily seen people defy death, but technically yes
Mhm.
with this film. So, we might be seeing Jordan again, maybe.
It'd be interesting, for sure. Yeah, and I wouldn't oppose it if they told the right story because the actor is amazing. You know, I
Mhm.
just I want I could see him as a Green Lantern too. To be truly honest with you, like I could see him as a few different roles in the DC.
Mhm.
He'd make a good Doctor Fate.
Ooh.
You know, he'd make a
Yeah.
real good
and like
Doctor
I
Fate.
said, I think I brought up either on a fandom cast, or on DC Alliance. I say for Fate to really work, you have to have that voice, a very good voice. And you're right, and I agree. Michael B. Jordan does have a voice.
Yeah, I could see him as in that role.
Because
Oh my
again,
gosh.
otherwise it's just a guy in a suit with a funny mask, with a funny helmet. So you have to have that voice to get that presence to say, "I'm about to screw up some stuff on
Yeah.
you."
So this is a crazy scene, man, because this is where you start to see the anarchy. Because people are listening to Michael B. to his character, and he's right. Like he's not wrong. I keep saying Michael B. Jordan because that's what I see when I look at him. I want to say his character name, but I keep saying Michael B. Jordan. Um, he does a
Gosh, I
great
remember
job.
that being a thing for so long after this movie. Hey, auntie.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
Yeah.
auntie.
Hey, auntie.
Well, and this movie did it too. The look, what are those? That was a big thing
Yeah,
whenever
the-
this movie
the
came out. You know,
sandals,
so. So I don't need weeks.
I'm hungry now.
And this is such a great fight scene too.
And you kind of have to wonder in that moment, because it's clear that he is very hesitant to say anything.
Mm.
Like, could any of this be fixed with a simple conversation?
Oh, not with Eric.
No.
No, he
Yeah.
is he is not in a point where he wants. He doesn't do
He-
diplomacy.
Passwords.
He's not,
Yeah.
but we see in his final moments, like,
Well, he's dying.
well, yeah, true. But I just feel like you kind of see like where he could have been,
No, you're right. I just think like he is his actions up to this point say I'm taking it by force. Everything. His
Yeah.
whole way of what he wants Wakanda to do is by force. Because even T'Challa says we're not going to use our weapons are not going to be used to wage war on the world. That's what he wants to do.
The way Forrest Whitaker's character just looks at Killmonger, like almost like I'm to blame for that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Rogue One. Or is it Rogue One or yeah, it's Rogue One. Force Whitaker's in, right?
Yep.
Ruined me for that character because all I can see him as now is Saw Gerrera. You know, like I don't know why. I've seen him in plenty of movies before that. He's a great actor. That's all I can see him as now. I just don't know why. You know. And that last line before he dies in the Star Wars movie, it's all I can see him saying. I don't know why. It's just crazy. Yeah, definitely the two challenge days are my favorite scenes in the movies, I think. They're just amazing. He's making a fair argument.
so painful. It's sad
Yeah.
knowing what he went through for revenge, but more than revenge, because like we said in the very beginning of all this, is he has a ethical way of thinking, but the process is skewed.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like I couldn't kill your father, who's the man who said, so I'm going to go after you and blame him for everything. It's just like, that's what I always say about sometimes, like, I get it, but it's just like, man, your anger is not with me. Your anger is with the man who is dead.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, like you said, it's standard across all these. If the person that did all this, who I blame for this, is no longer with us, and I'm going after the next of his kin.
Right. And it's funny too, like watching these movies, like, God, what a great fight scene, by the way. I like a lot of Hishi videos. I don't know if y'all watch those or not. I open a lot of DC Alliance shows with the Hishi videos.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and they always do the how it should have ended. And I don't know if you ever watched the Black Panther, how it should have ended. But I love how at the very beginning it's the very opening scene, and they just take Killmonger with them instead of leaving him there. And the movie's over. It's right there. That's the movie right there. It's finished.
Roll credits.
Yep. But it is crazy, man. It's those choices you make.
That whole fight was just so intense.
I'll take you both, Uncle James.
Yep. I mean, quite honestly, he would have killed. He would have killed T'Challa there.
And
I still
the character acting of everybody else, like realizing that their way of living is literally about to change before their eyes.
Yep.
Well, you got to, and I'll point it out to you, but very purposeful cinematography when Killmonger walks into the throne chamber as king, as the new Black Panther. It is upside down. It is turning right side up. The world is now turned upside down. Very purposeful. And one could say very cliched, but I think they did it so well that it's subtle enough and just enough to not be cliche.
Oh, I think that because you're so you were so enthralled in these scenes, so when you see it, it's like you're not even almost noticing it, other than the fact that he is on the throne.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what it's got to be like to put this necklace around him. It's like when the Patriots win the Super Bowl. Oh, it's so terrible. You don't want to give him that trophy. My goodness, you got to. That's the way it is.
Oh, man.
Actually, minus this year, because Cam's the Patriot now, so I don't mind if the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, you do.
If the Panthers don't, but they're not going to, so. Oh, man.
I'm almost glad that Okoye didn't become that stereotypical character of oh, I'm here to serve the king, so I'm only going to serve the king. She does it at a fault, but at the same time, she genuinely wants to help Nakia and T'Challa's mother.
Right. Overthrow. A coup. A coup's always fun. God, I can't not see that now, man. Now that you brought that up. Oh, I cannot not see that she played in Walking Dead. Every time I look at her. And I cannot believe that I did not notice it before. Wasn't paying attention. Yeah. It's me slipping right there. Wasn't paying attention. It's amazing what a haircut will do.
And it's such a great freaking acting choice or
Oh yeah,
her actress choice. Yeah,
yeah, she's great, man. There's a reason why she was one of the characters through the entire show of Walking Dead, because she's an amazing actress, and you know, being such a big part in this role, she does a great job, man. It's amazing.
and also having such a prominent role in these films and in The Walking Dead got her that spot in Infinity War.
Yep.
Which I'm glad they put in there, because she deserves it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, what a sad scene, though. Man, that's some amazing stuff right there. That makes me, like, them weeping over losing Black Panther right there just caught me. It's like weeping over Chadwick Boseman being gone, you know? Like, ugh. Same kind of thing, but I'm sure they feel it a lot more than I do. I don't know what that purple drink is, but I want some.
Well, purple's a fruit.
Purple drink.
Purple's a fruit. Homer Simpson said it.
Vibranium.
That's true. Purple is the color you try to think of when you're falling asleep. Just so you know. If you ever can't sleep, think of the color purple. It'll help you fall asleep.
Oh,
Is that why lavender helps you sleep?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
I just thought you just drink a whole lot of liquor and then you could solve that problem. You just end up falling asleep there.
Well, that happens every night anyway for me. So, like, yeah.
What are you talking
how
about? Just
terrible.
take a couple of Tylenol PM. You'll knock yourself out. That's
that's
blue though.
Yeah. How terrible.
Oh,
right there. Him walking in with his
Dynatap?
father's death. Yeah.
Weird area. Oh, look, purple. Different ancestral plane. Not the same kind, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But even here, like we said, he is a villain, but at the same time, he is doing it for purposes that aren't super villainous,
Right.
Yep.
and you
Right.
feel for him.
Mhm.
Like,
But-
these are hard moments, you know.
But especially I like how he'll turn back into his child self. That is a very interesting little reference point. That, in all honesty, you're a scared little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're a scared and angry little boy.
The day he saw his father dead, he did not grow up from that moment.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
Well, sometimes you need a realization like this before you do that, you know?
Yeah. Just and that we don't. He's talking to him like he. I know it's a reference to obviously a memory, but he even says like, "No tears for me." You know.
What a great actor. Oh, my goodness gracious. I love it.
Oh, I love him in all things. One of the other things, the People versus O.J. Simpson, that miniseries that he was in, he was so good in that too. I mean, again, he's good in everything, but playing one of the attorneys was just so good. He's another one that just brings gravitas and stature to anything he's in.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see emotion in his face, man. Like, he sells everything he's trying to sell. Like, I can wear white gloves and buy a ketchup popsicle from him. Like, seriously. I would do it because he would convince me it's a good idea. Go ahead and do it. Like,
well, look at what I should have taken. And I love it that he blames himself for who he's turned into.
mm-hmm. And you know, Michael B. Jordan's the same way, man. Amazing actor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The casting in this movie is so phenomenal. It's insane. Like, every actor I looked at, I'm like, yep, I like them. 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 Just
And there were so many people that saw Michael B. Jordan and only saw Fantastic Four.
right.
Or
Right.
Really?
Four Sticks.
Still?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think there were. I really do think there were, or think there are.
I thought enough people didn't see that movie to say, "Oh, he was that," because I still have yet to see it.
Hey,
Yeah,
that
I
movie
think
wasn't
that is the
bad.
only Marvel movie I have not seen.
It was
Yeah.
not that bad. I did not mind it that much. I've not minded any of the Fantastic Four movies they've made. They've all been okay. Okay. Granted, I'm a guy who loves Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, so just keep
But
that in
I've
mind.
also agreed with
Keep
you
that in
that
mind whenever
movie
you
is
say
not
yeah.
that bad.
Yeah.
That movie is also not that bad. I'm just not seeing it because people say, well, it's on Disney Plus. I said, yeah, but I just don't want to sit down and watch like necessarily a movie that I already know is not going to be that good.
I understand.
You know,
Yeah.
it'll happen one day.
This moment here
happen,
where he
so.
tells them to burn, of course, this field. Of course, we know that this is the plant that helps grant the powers of the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, does
Here we
Michael
go.
B. Jordan's character Killmonger not expect to have children and to, still reign over Wakanda, or is he convinced that he's going to live forever? You know.
I think
Yeah,
that's the
it's a
villainous
good point.
mindset. I think that's the villainous mindset of this is my power, nobody else is going to have it. Type deal.
And it's also kind of who his is, as being Black Ops. You take away the source, of power to make sure that you control the cards. Like no one else can come in and take it from you.
This is
like
where
basically, if you're gonna have to take it, you're gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is where he really starts to speak, quote unquote, truth, to where you're like, man, like once again, not villainous,
Right.
just villainous process.
He is not arguing an invalid point by any means. But the problem is, I think that he while we agree he's not arguing a invalid point. I think he's at the mindset of we've tried to do it this way for this long and it hasn't worked. So let's do this and make it work. And honestly, like I said, I can't say he's wrong about that. Like you've got to have a certain point where you try things for so long, and if they don't work, then you've got to go a different way. I don't necessarily condone violence for being that way, but you've definitely got to go a different way. So maybe his idea of going a different way is a good idea, but the idea he had was not the way I would have gone.
Yeah.
But again, it's what he's known
Right.
since since he, again being who he was as Black Ops. That's what he knows to do, and all he has seen is taking revenge on who killed his father.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to the Jabari right now.
So many good funny lines in this next scenes.
Yeah.
Now, was
What?
there any reiteration in comics that M'Baku, became Black Panther or had the powers of the Black Panther at all?
That I can't say with confidence.
Okay.
I know Shuri is, right?
Sure, he has.
Yes,
Yes.
Sure has.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't say that I know anything about it.
I'm gonna lean on just no. But like
just
I said,
having the thought, of course, knowing where we saw them last in the beginning of the movie, like this is clearly a desperation of time.
Oh, yeah.
To just be like, okay, we're gonna give you the same powers of Black Panther to save Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a thing of saying it's also that's the first time they've ever come to them deference in which he likes.
Right.
Because everyone's treated ever since the history that they've left. Oh, you're the other.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that kingdom, though, man.
Yeah.
How intimidating is that? Minus him wearing the skirt. How intimidating is that? I would have
I'm just
gone
kidding.
pants, just saying, but
I like it when Ross starts speaking. Go,
I do like this here. He's asking, he's like, were the odds fair? And yeah, they were fair.
Quiet colonizer. You cannot talk.
feed you to my
Gosh,
children. I love that.
Mbaku's a
Yeah.
mood, isn't he? Jesus.
And then we go, I'm just kidding, we're vegetarians.
Yeah.
And that's what you needed at this moment, just a little bit to say, okay,
Break that tension.
He's not all that bad.
Another perfect casting, though, man. You know, like, such a great job. And I'm glad they brought him back in Infinity War.
Because you're right, in the sense of he's never was a villain. He was just a different type of view of what the Wakanda society should be. Like, he just didn't agree with the technology, didn't agree with that kind of stuff. I don't view him as necessarily someone he wants to conquer the world.
But he wants things run his way. Honestly, it's not that different from Killmonger. It's really not. It's just they agree more with his ideals than Killmonger's ideals.
Killmonger,
yeah.
You say Killmonger.
Killmonger. Did I say Killmonger?
Yes.
Killmonger. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. That's that whiskey. Adds that A at the end. Killmonger. Killmonger.
A fisherman found him.
That is very contrived. I'm just saying, you know, I don't feel like anybody who fell from that without the Black Panther power would have survived, but
No.
it happens.
Remember, that totally fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They're totally fine.
Those guys are fine.
Those guys,
yeah, those guys
are good.
Yeah. Love you, Zack Snyder. Yes, sir.
It's ever since he did that, everyone's fine.
That's true.
Everyone can be fine.
That's true.
All those people in the next 20 minutes. Oh yeah, they're totally fine.
Everything's a-okay.
Right.
Yeah, that guy didn't lose an arm. He'll be fine.
I'll take it being a little contrived to fit the story for him to live. So let's put it that way. It would be a really boring story if he didn't live. I don't want to see M'Baku go against Michael B. Jordan because we already saw M'Baku lose to T'Challa. There's no way he's going to beat Michael B. Jordan. It's not happening.
No.
So.
I love it when people come to me and say, "Oh, I can't do superhero movies. They're so unrealistic." I was just like, "All right,
they
I don't
come
think they
from a
were
comic.
promoting themselves to be
Right. Like, you know, it's meant to be unrealistic, right? That's the kind of the idea. It's an escape from reality. Type deal.
And that's why I'm glad we're getting the Batman, but there's always this take of like, oh, we need a grounded Batman. I'm like, no, I want comic booky Batman.
Right.
Like,
I want him to grapple from nothing in the air like Spider-Man slings from nothing in the air. I want that because I want to see it happen, you know?
yes.
And then you say, "Look, he's doing it. He's not attached to anything, but he's swinging."
Yeah. Yep. And you can laugh about it. Here's your scene right here.
Yep, this is it.
Yeah. And again, that suit is amazing. That's the exact same suit right there. It's just white instead of black.
Yeah, just the colors are inverted.
Love it. I'd wear both of those. Don't know where I'd wear them to, but probably just for pictures. But I'd wear them.
It's the truth I chose to omit.
Chose my people.
But that's the thing. Like he said, you say you choose your people. He is of your people. He's your brother's son.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a more of a masses over the single type deal.
Yeah, but like I'd be angry too if I'd say, dude, you could have prevented all this.
Mm-hmm. Well, how did you not see this hero coming? Mindset. That's the hero mindset right there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I understand like T'Chaka made that choice, and again, hindsight's 2020, and this is not a real thing that happened, but. Or it's because if they did solve it, we wouldn't have a movie. So there we are.
Right.
Yeah, but just like T'Challa said, he is a monster of our own making, meaning that there was a choice that could have been made to not create this monster.
Yep. Just like Tony Stark is making all the villains, right?
Right.
Oh gosh.
Do you think that there's a possibility that Killmonger could have been talked down from this point?
Well, that's the question that I asked.
Yeah. And I said I don't think so at this point.
Well, not at this point. Like towards the end, like when they're coming up their final battle here in a little while. Is there a chance of talking him out of that, or is it just over. You've gotta make the kill, or it's
If there wasn't the kill shot, I think he could have. If because there's clearly a kill shot where he is just, in the last moments of the movie, he is on his last breath. If if he didn't have that kill shot and they just were like out of breath and were just like taking a moment to like speak, I think he could have.
I'll still disagree. I'll still respectfully disagree, just because he has never exhibited anything like that. His whole role in Black Ops is not to exhibit that, and doing anything like that is weakness. And
Yes.
he'd rather basically take be a samurai and kill himself than to ever be captured.
But I also feel like that moment with his father
True.
definitely helped him see Wakanda for its beauty at the very end.
You're right.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, and this harks back to the argument that I'm going to have very soon with Mr. Snell about superheroes killing, specifically one. And at what point do you say, okay, there is no other option but to kill this character or kill this guy? Like, there's got to be a line you draw. Like, there's got to be a point. So, and I don't know if we hit it in this movie. I feel like that was kind of in the heat of the battle what happened, but I don't think, me personally, Killmonger would have stopped. Like, I don't think there was anything you could do to convince him to, let's try to make this work out, or see what happens. I think he had his mindset in mind, and if it wasn't going that way, it's not going anyway. So the only way to fix that, unfortunately, is what happened. But I've got that argument coming up very soon. We'll talk about it.
I like this thing. You said you first king to ever come here in centuries, and you talk about us. There is no us necessarily. And then T'Challa does the mic drop. What do you think Killmonger's is going to let you continue on the way it's been for centuries? You're a threat. He's coming for you next. Like, he'll kill you just to show us, like, you join me or you're going to end up like your leader. Because again, he's coming from he's about destabilization.
Do you notice that these ships that are inside the cave look very buggish? Like they look
I was
like
almost going to say they look very
insect like.
No, oh my gosh. Who freaking Avengers, the very first Avengers movie, invaded.
Chitauri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look somewhat
I see that.
Chitauri.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. We're coming up with that big battle.
Well, it's going to find out exactly who we are. Well,
I've seen so many people post this now that he's gone. This scene right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did not yield. I am not dead. It's so great. Like a smile comes on your face when she says that. He lives. What's up?
How you doing?
Oh. Before this battle starts. Be right back.
Nature calls.
It's so sad that he was so influenced by Killmonger
Yeah.
at this moment. Just knowing that they had a past, him and T'Challa.
Hmm.
The reveal of this suit was just so awesome.
Ferocious. But even it's almost like, again, just knowing who T'Challa is, there is no way in ever that he would choose that suit.
Talking about the gold one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do love that they specified
that
in
shot.
the beginning that like you can definitely tell who is who based on that.
Yeah.
They let you know one's gold, one's purple, so you'll know who they are. What an amazing suit, though. What are his group of bodyguards called that Okoye is part of?
The Dora. I always screw up the end of it. The Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
Milaje, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I always that other part. It was Dora Milaje. Yeah. Dora Milaje.
Here we go. Bring the rhinos in.
Rhinos. Hey, big guy.
When I first saw this, I was like, "This is totally cheating." Like,
Oh,
how,
yeah.
how are you going to go into a fight, like hand-to-hand fight, and then bring in battle rhinos?
Yeah, it's true. Not just rhinos, battle rhinos. Good point. Yeah.
I don't know. You can go up to him. You say, "Oh, how you doing, big fella? Sun's getting kind of low."
Rub his nose a little bit. Yeah. It's just like riding a hover bike, she says.
Like, she says it so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hover- We were promised hoverboards. You got bikes?
I hate she's mad she's got to put armor on. Like, you know you're about to fight. Like, if you don't fight, you're probably going to die. Why would you
But
not
see,
want
it
armor?
also talks about how much confidence she has. You know,
That's true.
Almost in
Yeah.
a sense.
That's a good point.
Like, I don't need this.
And that shows his ruthlessness.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say, while I said earlier I like that all black on black suit the best, there is no Black Panther suit that doesn't look good.
Bam.
Like, they all look so good. And Shuri's arm gauntlets. Man, I love that.
Oh, this looks fun. Let's do a game like this.
I made it American standard.
None of this driving on the left side of the road.
Here you go,
And
Ross.
wasn't there like some sort of throwaway line that he was some sort of Air Force?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I remember them saying something to that effect.
Yeah, because I guess they only talk about him being CIA in this movie, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reference to Air Force. But I mean, I feel like well, I say that because I've flown planes before, but I feel like if you played a video game where you've flown planes, you could at least have an idea of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, while it is different, it's not the theoretically it's not that different. So you just got to kind of wrap your mind around that. I might have to buy one of those arm gauntlets too. They look pretty cool.
This just makes me want to get a VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter turns 10 in about 3 weeks, and that's all she wants for her birthday is a VR headset. Yeah.
They've come. I mean, especially now they have like the Iron Man VR game that's come out recently. The Star Wars ones. There's some really cool stuff coming out for VR.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've really, really made that technology great.
Yeah, it's not as gimmicky anymore.
All right. Well, I have an Oculus Rift, but that's a first or second generation type VR type thing. So it works well, but you have to have a phone for it. Oh, look at this scene, man. I love the power. Look at her. Don't get
Like,
close.
to the point
Don't get close.
well, also, you have to remember, like, the necklace is basically her technology. Like, you cannot try to one-up her, you know?
I was just saying, come on, you got to build a failsafe in everything, just in case you never know when they go rogue.
I just don't understand why she got close there. Like, you have the guy. Just that's a common rookie mistake right there. You don't get close.
Bam!
There you go. Get him. And here you go. One of the best fight scenes of the entire movie.
It's just them falling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's the faith that something's going to catch you.
Right. Well, you know, the fact that he would just sacrifice that, doesn't matter if anything catches me. It's my sister. You know, I'm going to save her.
Yeah.
Love it.
Boom.
And as I said, with the chase car scene, this is kind of where you start to see the CGI kind of lessen a little bit, but that does not take away from the awesome choreography of this fight.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of CGI in this. That's probably why. Like, it's almost all CGI, I'd imagine. You know? So, but you're right. It doesn't take away from it at all. It's an amazing fight. I love this showdown right here, them talking about it. Like, how cool is that? I don't need a suit to kill you.
I love that death stare that Michael B. Jordan does so well in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the argument right here, man, that he's making. It's both of them are right in this argument. So amazing.
And that was the problem. You know, he says, Wakanda took everything that I loved away from me, when it would have been as simple as bringing him and his father to Wakanda to know that there was other people that cared about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I want to fly one of these too, so bad. Don't do it, Ross.
He'll never survive. Let's go back to the Matrix.
I like it. How cool are those weapons too? Like the circular electronic discs.
Yeah.
Very Tron-esque.
Yeah. Here you go. Here you go. 2 count.
That's got to be so terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I want all of that. I want the shields. I want a spear. I want a little disky electronic frisbee. I want all that stuff, man.
And I just noticed one of the other tribes killed one of the ones with the shield just now, stabbed him. And you kind of have to think, like, in this small instance of just a outsider coming in to try to change the way they think, like, how many needlessly died for it,
Well, you have to think too how many people that before that are thinking about the same ideals that this mindless leader is coming into, because you know that in every society you have people who have radical ideas. So it just maybe they haven't acted on them yet, but now they see somebody acting on them and they're going to support that.
Radical ideas like Doctor Strange and Green Lantern are the same movie.
That's not radical. I think Travis had a Freudian slip the other day, and he said
he did.
When Greg convinced us that Doctor Strange and Green Lantern.
I literally said no. I said, hey, okay, don't put us into that. That's you, bud.
Hey, just saying.
Don't rope me into that.
Storyline, same movie. I proved it. I think the score is like 36-12 for for and against. So just saying, it's pretty.
I won't deny. I never denied that your points may have equaled out. I just don't see it in the majors.
I understand.
But you brought up some very.
You know me, man. I'm extreme. I like to go to the far, outstretches of the universe and stack.
I say Nathan's got you on that, bud.
That's true. That's why him and I got along so well.
Yeah.
So.
Yin to your yang.
That's right. That's right. No, I do love this right here, man.
Yeah. Go, Baku.
Get him.
No shall not pass.
I love how. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's a callback too, because they were lovers, right?
They're married.
They're married. Okay, yeah. So, I love that.
Well, for the moment that, like, if you look closely, it's not him that pulls the rhino away to stop it. The rhino just stops.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a dog.
So he is still willing to almost just go completely through her to get M'Baku.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yo, I have the baddest ass pit bull you'll ever meet. I guarantee you, no matter what, I could never get my pit bull to attack my wife. Just wouldn't happen. Just wouldn't happen. I could get him so mad, and if my wife stepped in the way, he'd stop. Like so I see that happening 100%. Not that I want to. I love you, baby. I'll never have Bucky attack you. So
yield.
Dude, they're always fighting near an edge, man.
Right.
I can't. My anxiety is there,
and that's why they do that.
Time.
They get you and me with that. That's why they do that. It's like, oh, he's gonna fall off. Nope, he didn't.
Now that would be the ultimate thing. They do that, they both fall off, and that's the end of the movie. It's like, oh my god, they did it.
There's the kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, how did that knife go through her vibranium suit?
Because if you noticed, you saw the suit kind of like vibrating out, so it wasn't completely on him.
Okay, that makes sense.
And before the panels actually closed, the suit was just closing, and T'Challa like barely had enough time to get it right in his chest, and then you saw it kind of go over that small opening.
I'll honestly say I don't like a lot of on-screen deaths because they like the character just doesn't do a great job of it, or there's very few times where you see somebody do an on-screen death where it looks good. This is great. I hate to say that because it sounds like it's saying, "Oh, great, Michael B. Jordan died. It's awesome." No, I'm not saying that. He played the role very well of this scene. Yeah.
Well, right here, doesn't he even ask to like go outside to see the sun
He wants
or whatever?
the sunset. Yep, he never saw it. Yep. I believe that's called respect, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
What a beautiful suit. Both of them. So that is not CGI, is what you're saying. That is the Man of Steel pattern of suit.
Now, I don't know if Michael B. Jordan's is that way, but I do know that T'Challa's or Chadwick Boseman's suit is the Superman Man of Steel suit. Yeah.
So he is wearing an actual suit. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. See, and here, T'Challa even says there is still a possibility that we could heal you. So even after all of that, he still wants to do the right thing.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing. He feels like if it's not his ideals, then it's wrong. He doesn't want to compromise, I feel. you know? Because I think T'Challa would have compromised with him and probably worked with him on his ideals, but I don't think he wanted to compromise on them at all,
Yeah.
you know? But it may not have been wrong to compromise on them. I mean, it's one of those weird things, you know? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So they brought Ross into the whole thing, huh? That is such a cool way to say what's up. To do the whole thing. Like, I want to walk into work every day and be like, you know, but I feel like I can't do it. But I want to be like, you know, nobody will get
it. You're cool, Greg. I don't think you're
right.
that cool.
That's right. Exactly. I'm not that cool.
You're cool, but you're not Wakanda cool yet.
That's right. That's right. I'm not there yet. Got to get a few thousand more downloads, then I'll be that cool. No.
And you gotta get that ass that you're feeling.
That's right. I will never be as cool as Chadwick Boseman. Let's put it that way. No matter what I do in my life, I will.
None of us will ever be.
That's right. So,
man, Chadwick making the moves.
Yes, sir. You got to, man. You've been the whole movie not making the moves. You might as well. Stay. Man. So, what do y'all think overall the story of this movie? We're towards the end now. Like, was there any points where you felt like it was slow? You felt like, I'm not interested in what's going on? Or did this movie kind of keep your attention the whole time you were going?
I think it kept my attention the entire time. Now, the only time that I could see there being an argument for it being slow was probably right before everything went down in the casino. Okay. But even then, it's still like setting up for something bigger, you know? So, and here, I love this scene real quick. This is the complete opposite of what we saw in our opening scene.
Yeah.
With
daytime.
Yeah, exactly. Lighting, it's daytime,
actual basketball goal. Yeah.
Yeah. But we get to see what the possibilities will be for Chadwick opening the world to Wakanda rather than shutting it out.
All right. What about you, Chris? Anything?
It's a good way to bookend. It's a perfect bookend.
Okay.
With this, again, you have to go back to how this started to go off the rails, and it's a way of righting the wrongs.
Right. So at the end of the movie, basically, there's a resolution to the problem you see at the beginning of the movie, or not resolution, but at least they're walking that path. They found the road to resolution of where they were at.
They found a way to be not necessarily solve the world's problems, but to work with it.
Right. To at least start to solve the world's problems. I get that. Yeah, I love this scene at the end right here.
I also want to say that's got to be one of the quietest space or aircrafts ever, because as soon as it comes into vision, only one person notices it.
It's vibranium, baby. That's the way it is. Vibranium does that, man. It's everything you want, vibranium. I do love this though. That they're going to bring Wakanda into the world, and they're going to represent it. Man, it's such an awesome scene. And the way it ends, there you go. Those credits go the same way that it started out with the movie where they were doing the origin. So I love how it goes from beginning to end there. So.
And I believe in another 3 minutes or so, the end credit scene will happen.
Yeah.
Okay. But what is your final thoughts over this whole thing? Did you think that there was any slow parts, any rough areas as far as something that just didn't fit in the film at all for you, Greg?
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like it all flowed pretty well. I can't think of a whole lot of things that I would have changed for this movie. I mean, the only thing I can think of that I would have changed would have been to make it, well, I don't want to say to make it more realistic. What What I mean is, I look at it from a comic book reader's point of view. Like, I see this stuff, I believe that, okay, this works. Whereas some people in general audience maybe would not have, as far as vibranium fixes everything. But I'm okay with that. Like, I'm cool with that. I have no problem with what's going on. I don't think the general audience did either. I think it was pretty well explained that vibranium is basically, like liquid gold. It fixes everything. But no, I mean, honestly, with this movie, I've watched it. This is the third time in a week I've watched it. I've had a great time watching it every time. It's a different kind of movie for me because I don't see this kind of portrayal in a lot of movies. I enjoyed seeing it, and I look forward to seeing it in the future, no matter how they run forward with this story. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you talk about how the general audience, and with the take of like how vibranium fixes everything, but I think that's why they brought in, Claw, in the sense of making it more like how he was used in Age of Ultron as like an arms dealer. And things like that. This is just another thing that kind of will make the world go round, because before it was vibranium, it was guns. Before it was guns, it was gold. Before it was gold, it was,
right.
Just overall trade. And, they felt that the world would eventually be in this same situation of like, it needs this vibranium.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Chris, any thoughts?
Slow parts, I think when the movie did like not have action at that point, it was very purposeful. It was to a point where this wasn't ever a movie like like your Avengers kind of movie where you have to have lots and lots and lots of action because that's what you expect. This is very much a political movie. Just like, even, Captain America, that's what they were. That Feige kind of said you have certain movies that are just certain ways. And this is another one that's kind of going to be a political movie that's going to make you think and make you understand the world.
All right. Well, they tackle current issues.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think everything was kind of purposeful for what it is, and that's well, of course it is. Well, then whatever.
Yeah.
Can't put words together. I guess it's 11. It's 11:30 at night.
Right here in the East Coast. That's right.
And and despite that, drinking coffee can only do so much.
And drinking whiskey can do so much more. Just letting you know. So, so we're at the end scene right here where basically T'Challa is telling the world he's going to open up the gates of Wakanda, or I guess he's going to at least bring Wakanda into the world. And what do y'all think about that? Good idea?
Yeah, it was. It's the way the movie was heading towards.
Right.
It is where the movie was heading towards, and I think it'll be better under the supervision of course, Wakanda. It's almost in a sense of not so much, and I think Chris would be a little bit more able to kind of tell the similarities of this, of like the comic book version of what the X-Men are right now, with how their trades are with the plants that can cure almost anything and other stuff like that. I think that there is going to be a definite change in how society is, or at least there should be, because I don't think they should completely erase this film in continuity. So I definitely want to see changes, whether it be small changes of like a random character goes into a hospital and they're using Wakandan technology, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, you want to see this movie mean something.
Yes.
Basically, it feels like if they throw away everything that with Wakanda and vibranium and everything in this movie, that this movie is kind of a waste. Not even a waste, because I don't want to say anything with him in it or these actors in it that it's such a great job as a waste. But it feels like they threw that away. They could have utilized so much of this and they just didn't. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, like Chris said, it's 11:30 on the East Coast. we've just watched Black Panther as a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Amazing actor, amazing man, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great time watching it. But fellas, are y'all ready to sign out? Get out of here?
I
Yes.
think so.
Good deal. Well, Clayton, I'll start with you, buddy. If fans want to talk to you, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter, on Instagram. I don't post a whole lot. I'm trying to think of ideas, but I have made a TikTok. I am with the cool kids now.
Nice.
Ooh, look at you.
Look at you. Yep.
But I'm gonna be very soon gonna get back into spray painting, and I'll put some stuff into that. But you can find me there. You can find me at Fanboy Comics Podcast, as well as the Comic Book Legion podcast, as well as the Batman News Weekly podcast.
This guy gets around. Just saying, he gets around. Now, check all this stuff out. Seriously, Clayton, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I want to have you on again, very, very much so. So I'll hit you up about to come on the show. Glad to have you on tonight, and I want to come do a show with you, man. Like, I'm gonna come
For
on
sure,
Fanboy
man.
Comics, so.
It'll be so much fun, for sure.
Definitely. Chris, where can they find you at, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga. You got the couple of shows. You got World's Finest True Believers on Mondays, and Greg will be dropping your newest episode with me, looking at Batman White Knight.
I can't wait to hear it again.
Nice.
Love that.
And then on Wednesdays we got Marvel Alliance. We got a lot of news dropping this week. Bringing up the New Mutants. What's happening behind the scenes. A lot of new moves on production. Getting ready to be greenlit. New directors. So a lot of stuff to talk about this week with Mr. Snell and myself.
Good deal, man. I can't wait to hear that for sure. One of my favorite shows of the week. So, and you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. That's my personal handle. I'll answer just about any question anybody asks. I like to have good conversations. I love to have debates as long as they're civil. And then you can also check me out on DC Alliance Podcast on Tuesdays, superhero discussions on Fridays, Super Civil Servants on Fridays as well. And that's all part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. And then Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're a geek and you like sports, come check me out, the C3 Panthers podcast, where we talk Panthers football and how we are tanking this year. So it's going to be a fun time. But, yeah, check me out. Lots of places you can find me. But, fellas, it has been a great time. I thank you both so much for coming on, watching this movie with me, and giving a tribute to Mr. Chadwick Boseman, who very well deserves it. May you rest in peace, sir. And, gosh, it's so hard to think about it, but until next week, I would say keep pounding, but I'm going to say Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Rest in power.
Rest in power.
Rest
Yes,
in
sir.
power.
Good deal. All right.